Welcome to Gravity High Voltage Tips. The first tip we'll discuss today is scheduling, or what is the time frame that you'll need in order to host a successful and exciting Gravity High Voltage workout. Typically, with the structure that we've developed, you need 1 hour to put on the schedule, and that works nicely with our pay structures as well. If we charge per hour, or even though I want to mention this because it is about a 30-minute workout, but we've got our warm-up, we've got our cool-down, and there is some logistical setup in the beginning. So as we discussed in our setup section, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes just to get everybody in the room, talk to them about what we're doing. We're going to set up a sagittal plane zone, a frontal plane zone, and a transverse plane zone. And we do want to try to teach them those terms. If I could teach them those terms, and I've seen it with clients and some of the students at the Applied Functional Science School, is that they're able to maintain that information, and then as you cue people and to do a frontal plane movement or in the frontal plane, then they get to learn a little bit about function as well. So I like to keep that in there because I get to see the results that they're actually learning that applied functional science. With the hour time slot, you're going to probably need a little bit of prep time before the clients even get there. So perhaps 5 or 10 minutes before the hour or the start time of the circuit, you get in there and you either set up your 3 units, your 7 units, or if you're working with a couple and you're going to run through Gravity High Voltage with one machine and one floor station, it's not going to take much time at all. So obviously you're going to be able to tweak that down and then complement your high voltage workout with, or high voltage circuit with something more specific to what their needs are towards the end. When you get your room set up, you're going to need about, like I said, about 5 or 10 minutes. I have 10 minutes on my schedule to talk to the clients, to say, hey, everybody, you're going to have to split up into partners. We're going to get you at different stations, and I give them about 1 or 2 minutes of instruction, probably about more like 1 of instructions for that station. And I'm not real concerned, and we'll talk about this later, is about the quality so much. I want them to get the environment set up. I want them to be able to understand the real gross objective of the station, which is shoulder extension or shoulder flexion or raise ball up, push cables back. That way they get in the position, and then I as a coach can go around and then really start to focus on cueing them to do a specific form or whatnot. So you need about 10 minutes there, and then you'll go into your warm-up, which is going to be about 6 to 8 minutes. And again, you've got tweakability here, so I like to call it a buffer. And typically I'll go through 3 different types of warm-up where I'll do what we call like a standing just sphere matrix, where I'll put one foot in front of the other, go through all 3 planes with upper body drivers, and then go into a lunge. So you're doing the same thing, but you're lunging out and bringing it back home, lunging out, using the arms to drive in each plane of motion, and then transverse plane as well. So we're doing rotational and frontal as well. Then I go into balance, because there's a lot of single leg balance that we try to get to with those medicine balls. So you'll need some time to teach or to warm them up with balance. So you're doing a single leg balance, you're standing on one leg, you're driving with the other leg or with the hands. I think those are really important to do before you start the actual high voltage workout to get that high voltage stimulation. So about 6 to 8 minutes there. Typically your Gravity High Voltage workout, the circuit itself, is going to take around 30 minutes. Now with shorter groups, smaller groups of people, it still takes about the same time, because you're going to have to transfer or manipulate the equipment to change it for each plane. Say for example, if you're working with 3 machines, you've got 2 transitions in there where you're going to have to go switch the equipment for them. And that again, you can have them run around the building is what I'll typically do. That way they're out of sight, out of mind. They come back, I've got a whole new circuit set up for them. So you've got another tweak in there is how long are you at each station. So in our video, you'll see 30 or 40 seconds. That's a nice kind of Goldilocks place where I've found that if I go any longer, I start to lose people. If I go any shorter, I don't think they're getting quite the stimulation, that high voltage stimulation that we're looking for. So you've got a little bit of tweakability there as well. And then finally, you've got to do your cool down. So I leave about 5 minutes at least to kind of talk, bring it all home, see what they've learned, make it nice and interactive, get some good camaraderie going on with the group, and then you're finished. So you can tweak it up or down a little bit, but typically you're going to need a 1 hour time slot to run a successful Gravity High Voltage circuit.